Okay, so this is a continuation of creating a basic CMS with Astro.js and Supabase. I've called it Superblog, and it's just a simple blog application. So we can create a post. So this Supabase Astro Supabase video. We can add some content. We can say this is a video showcasing Supabase and Astro.js by making a blog CMS editor. And I'm going to click save. This is I can delete this article. And right now it's draft, so I can edit it. And I can click on published, and I can save those changes. And if I go to publish posts, it takes me back here. And I can read that. And this is exactly what I wrote there. This is the title. This is who wrote it. We've also got a login. So if I wanted to log in order to actually create a post and do all of that. So you can see all my posts. And again, I can edit it, publish it, save those changes. And if I go to publish posts, they're not there. They only show the published posts. But here I've got my draft posts. I've got how many I've published, and a quick another quick access to those as well. You could have my posts on this page. It's entirely up to you. I decided to put it on a separate page. And all this is made using Astro.js and Supabase. Could also be made with any other backend, but this is what we've got. Obviously, this button here doesn't work yet, but you could have a profile page, etc. So I'm going to show you. I'm using Quill. We can even have a code block here. Print hello world, and this is how to say hello in JavaScript, and it automatically creates a slug based on what you have in the title. And if I say save and I edit it and I say published, we can take a look and we can see it here. How to say hello in JavaScript, print not hello. There you go. So I've only got one published post and one draft post, you see. So now if I go to my post and then I say I want this one to be published too, I can say this, and I've got those two here. And if I go to my dashboard, I've got 2 published posts and no draft posts. So I'm going to go through how this was all made. I'm going to what I've used is the Google login that I will link in the card up here. We basically do that to log in and log out. And basically you could see the home page and all the published posts. But if you ever want to create a post, you'd have to log in, etc. So I haven't actually added that to this this file, but that's basically what we're doing, and it's stored. Everything is stored here in the database. So that's a nice blog CMS that we can get started, and it's very straightforward to create. and that's what we will do in another video. Thanks. Okay, so this is the Superblog Blog CMS with Astro.js and Supabase. I'm using the Google login in one of my previous videos. So you can log in and you can read articles that are published. And you can go to a dashboard, you can create a post, and this is the home page really. So it's a dashboard. I'm logged in. This is my username, how many posts I've made, how many posts I've published, or how many posts in the draft phase. I can create a post here. I can view all the posts that I've already published, edit and delete them, and that's all I can do for now. So if I create a post, I say hello YouTube, I want to say hello to YouTube and thank my subscribers. And say save. So here's hello YouTube. It's in the draft phase. So we edit this article and click on published. Say changes. Look at my published posts, and here they are. Here's hello YouTube. Exactly. So these are the other ones. I've got print. Okay. So we take a look now. We can take a look at the code. So obviously my .env file has my Supabase in it. The Astro config has tailwind CSS, Starwind UI, and all of that, Astro icon, and it has the output server, very important because we're doing a lot of back-end stuff. So I have 3 layouts. I have a dashboard layout, which is what you see when you go to dashboard. You have this nice layout here with the navigation on the side, and then the other layouts is just having this header at the top. So we have a folder called lib, which basically has the Supabase variables. So I've created the client here so I can use it all over my project. And then I have one called posts, and basically what it does, it imports everything from my Supabase.ts, and I'm using a post table called Superblog posts, and I'm just basically I'm getting the posts, so await.supabase.from post, and selecting everything that's published. I'm getting my posts, so everything with the author ID. I'm getting one single post when you click on to read an article. I'm adding a post, so I'm inserting the data. I'm updating, doing the same, updating the data where the ID equals the ID, and the same with the delete. So those are my helper functions, all in a nice table there. Next, so I've imported Starwind, as I said, and I've also, if I take a look at the components, there's the Starwind. These are we end up not using the switch or the checkbox, but the rest we actually do use throughout the project. So I have a header file, which is The one you see, I'm actually going to get rid of this one. And we can see that. So you have dashboard, and I have imported the, if we look at the library, package.json, I've got the iconify MDI, so I can have these icons. I'm not actually using the icons right now, but we are mapping through those nav links and getting the URL and the title, which corresponds to what we have here. So that way you could just add home and change that to home, and there you go. So now if we take a look at this, we've got home, dashboard, and create a post. Yeah, so that's what having a nice header component can do. We have a mini postcard, so it takes the card component and the button component from Tailwind, and we're getting the post.title, the ID, and whether it's published or not. So that's all created there, and it takes in a post as a prop. Okay, so I've edited a few things just to make it a bit coherent. I've updated the making sure that the Superblog links to the homepage. I've also removed a few stylings, so now we have the home. It kind of looks similar to the dashboard. So yeah, there we go. So if we look and we can read the article. Okay, so let's get back to what we were doing. We're going through each of these. So that was the header. Then we're going to go to the mini postcard, and all of this is basically taking everything from the post and getting the title and the post ID, and if we wanted to add anything extra, we could. The post form, actually before I do that, let's look at the edit card. So the edit card is similar to the mini postcard, except it has badges, and that badge will say whether or not the post is published or if it's a draft, and that will only be visible. That will only be visible in the to edit or update, delete an article. And we have the card component from Tailwind. We have the description, content, header, etc. And we also have the badge. So if we see here, we're getting the post from the props, astro.props, getting the title, and if it's published, also published. If not, the badge will say draft, and we can change that to we're just going to put bg-green is 500, and text is always white, so that's fine. You could also change it so that it could be a certain color or whatever. You do what you want. And this button, when it says edit, goes to this specific location, admin edit ID, and we'll look at that page in a minute. And it says edit article, and then we have this. This is a form which takes the post ID, a hidden input, and it will send it to the delete API that we have. And then that's the button that says, obviously, to delete the article. But this is where it's going. So we can take a look at those as well. Okay, so now we've done those, let's look at the post form. So this is the one, this is the big one. So this takes an action URL, an author, and a username as a prop. I'm linking the quill JS and CSS style sheet, and it's just a simple form, and I've got input type of text, and the name is title. Then I have another name is username, and the value is username. It's a read-only file, so you can't really change that. And I've also got another hidden input, which is the ID, and that will be author. Then I have a label for slug, and the name again is slug. And this is the content. So this div takes in the editor container. This is all from Quill, but it also takes in a hidden input with the ID of hidden content, and then we have a button for submit. Now this script is what makes the Quill JS work. We have to say is in line, so that Astro will actually read this JavaScript. So it's just initializing the Quill and modifying the toolbar, making sure we have exactly what we want. You can add and edit this as much as you like. And we're using the snow theme, and we're getting the post form and the hidden content. And whenever we're going to submit the form, we're going to get everything from the Quill editor and make sure it's in the hidden content, because that is what is being read when you add the post. And we're also going to generate the title, the slug from the title. So we get the title input and the slug input, and what we're doing here, we're just replacing, we're putting everything to lowercase, and then we're going to add dashes to each file. This is very simple face, and that's the whole of the post form. Now, if we take a look at the APIs I was saying earlier, so this is the delete. So it's going to, remember we had the helper functions, so we can actually just put that symbol here. The helper functions, we had add post, delete post, edit post. So this is the delete post, and it takes in an ID, and we get that, and then it will delete the post, which is what we have here, and that corresponds to the lib file posts. This is the, where is it? This is the delete post. Takes in an ID and it deletes it from the table that you specify. And then once it's done, it will go back to my posts. And the update is similar. Takes in an ID, the title, content, and the published. And it will, we don't need to console.log, I'm going to remove that now. That was just to make sure it works. And again, we're importing the update post from posts. And it takes in an ID and any data that's changed. And we're going to say update post, put the ID in, and put the data that we got from the form. And then the add itself, again, it's another API route. And we get the title, the author, the content, the slug, the username. Make sure all of this is very basic validation, but you could obviously make it a bit more sophisticated. And we're getting that, and the title is the title, content is content, slug is slug, author is author name, and the author ID is the author. And once that's all done, we say add post, which corresponds to this one, add post. We're inserting the data. Okay, so that's what those three do. Let's close all those. The auth is the same for this is just for the Google login. You can watch my video on that. And now we go to another where we can edit the file. So it's under pages, we have a folder called admin, and then we have another folder called edit, and then we have a square brackets id.astro. And basically, if we look at the top, we're saying we're getting the ID, the post ID, and then we're going to get the post, and then that corresponds to get post, which is the ID. It will select everything from that for that single ID. So that's what this ID corresponds to, the params. And then we're going to get the user, making sure we have one, and the username. And if we don't have any of those, then we redirect to the home page. But you could redirect to login or anything like that. So now we have the dashboard layout. So it stays with the navigation on the left. And we have a edit post, a heading. And then we have another form. So this form goes to the API update, which I showed you earlier. And it has a hidden name ID, which is the post ID, just to make sure that when we update, we're corresponding to the right post. And then we have a label for title input. Again, the name has to correspond, the username as well. So those things actually don't change, but it's good to have that all in there anyway. And the post.slug is the same as a slug. And we're disabling that so that we don't change change those inputs. And this here is a checkbox, and that the name is published, and the checked is post.published. So if it's published, it will be checked, and if it's not published, it'll be unchecked. And then we have again the content that we did in the add section, and then a button to save the changes. So it's exactly the same as the add, except we are updating what's already there. So all the inputs have actually values in them. So you have the value post ID, value username, value post title, even the content inside has the post content. So that's what's being done there. And then, okay, so the post content is there, and then the hidden name is there. And when you save the changes, just like before, it makes sure that it gets the inner HTML, or you could just get the plain content and it updates. And if we look at the post.id, so this is when we actually look at the content, and I have imported or installed marked. It's a nice way to kind of make sure that the output of the content looks nice. It converts markdown to HTML. So it's using the post layout, and as you get in the posts from, again, here, getting all the posts that are published, and then it's looping through those posts and getting back, it's actually getting this post here, singling out the post with the right ID. So if we look here, again, we're inputting the header. This time we're inputting the header, and we have the post.title. We don't need this here. Post.author, and then we're going to set the HTML of this div to the post.content, which we have already made into a nice markdown. And if there isn't anything, then it says post not found. So that's the individual post. And if we look at the add page, we're importing the dashboard layout, the post form, Supabase, getting the username, And remember that the post form had these 3 options here. So we're making sure to do that. So the action URL for this specific one is add, and the author is the user ID, and the username is the preferred username, which you can get from the Supabase auth. So that's the add. And the dashboard takes the dashboard layout, of course. We don't actually need this card because we're not using it here. So we're getting all the posts. It says all my posts, so everything with my user ID. We're importing the avatar. We're importing the button. If there's no user, then we're going back to the login. And then we're saying how many draft posts do I have. So if you loop through my posts with my ID, and then we're filtering on the ones who are not published, and we're getting that length. And the same for the published posts, except this time we want the post to actually be published. So that's called published posts. And in the dashboard layout, we've got just a welcome with the username, my avatar image, user image, which I have here, is my metadata picture. And my username is the fullback, and again, my username is here. And then this form is just for logout, and that's in my Google login video with Supabase. And then I have a heading saying overview, and here I'm showing my draft posts and my published posts, how many they are, with 2 different divs inside a flex, and then we've got quick access. So like I said, we could have had all our posts already here. I decided to put it on another page, but you could put it here instead. Create a post, create, edit, or delete. It goes to these specific pages. This one actually goes to the same page. And if we go to that page, my posts. So again, this is taking in the edit card component and the dashboard layout, getting the posts. And we are using the edit card, and we're making sure we pass that through. And if there's obviously none, we won't have any posts. And remember, the edit card had the edit article and the delete button. So that's what those will look like, and we're just putting it in a grid format. So no matter how many you have, it will all show up nicely there. This is, again, the styling is completely basic, and you can get something from Flowby or Tailwind or anything else, and you can style it the way you like. And this is just basic styling for this tutorial. And the login, I have a div with the flex of half the screen is Superblog and the other half is the login with Google, which goes to the auth login. So I have a API auth login and logout and the callback. So that's what all of that is, and that's all of the that's the whole project. And if we take a look again, see what the result is, I'm going to log out. And if you're logged out, you can still read articles. Yeah, you can still read articles that I've created. And if I click create a post, we haven't actually made that it should be this. So let's do that now. So if we click on add, it should be the same as dashboard. So if we go to dashboard, and we say if not user, then redirect. So let's go to add and make sure you have this. Yeah, okay. So create a post. Doesn't seem to do it. All right. Okay, well, I'm logged in now anyway, so So here we are, the home page. So we could have it like so, or we could even change the mini component, mini postcard, and we could make it so that the height is 12. Oh, no, we're not going to do a height. Yeah, okay, so it's going to be as it is. And we could even change the index for it to be a div with a class of grid. And obviously grid dash cols dash 1 is the main, but when it's MD, could be grid dash cols dash 3. And we'll wrap it inside of here. And now we've got these. So then we can create posts saying this end of tutorial. And we can say this is the end of the tutorial for Superblog. Save. And as you can see, we can edit the article and we can say published and save changes. And now we look at published posts. There they are. And if we read it, this is the end of the tutorial. Okay. So there we go. We've actually successfully created a CMS. And if we look at our Supabase dashboard here, we've got the we've got everything here. And just to show you that this works, if I go to hello YouTube, sorry, in my posts, and I say hello YouTube and I unpublish it, this changes to false here. Or I could completely delete it, and if it refreshes, it's completely gone. So there we go. And I've noticed that the published, which is the edit card, has an extra thing here. Okay, so just to make it look nice. All right, there you go. So yeah, so again, we can edit article, unpublish, etc., or delete, save changes. Published post will only be 2, and then we can do the same thing again. And obviously this updates every time. I can view my posts and I can say, oh, this one's a draft, I want to publish it. There we go. There's the post and there it is. And read the article. And there we go. All right. I actually want to change the edit. I think it was better when it was in a text. Yeah, anyway. So that's everything. And then I'm just going to commit this. So post layout updates. And I'm going to commit that, all my changes. And that's that. So we could also, I remember, if you see here, I've got Superblog likes, so we could do that as well. You could add, a button on each post. So if we go to the postcard, no, actually the post itself. Sorry, you could add a button. So the form, and the action would be /API/liked, takes the ID and a button, type submit. I'm going to import the button from Tailwind. So say import button Tailwind. I believe it's like this. And make sure that it's green. Oops. Green. We'll just do that. Dot dash. Dot dash. Dot dash. Okay. I will take it from another file, and then that way. Oh, it was by itself. Okay. And so if we look at the post itself now, we've got this like button, and we could add a because it's the same. We could add the API like here. So we'll go API. I'll go like.ts, and we're going to kind of copy what's in the add, and we're going to go to the main file, and we're basically going to go. We're not going to add the post here because we're just going to import Supabase from our library here. And what we're going to do, so this is called Superblog likes, and we want it to have the author ID and the post ID. So we have the author there, and we'll have the post ID. So ID, so author and ID. We update that, making sure that we know. So the author ID is there. So we say, I think it's called post ID, post underscore ID and author underscore ID, yeah. So await, and then we're going to say Supabase.from likes insert data. So then we want to make sure that this is what we are doing here. So the value, the name is post. Oops. This name here, post ID, has to correspond to this one here. So that's that. And the author ID we want to put input as well. So input, type hidden, and we're going to say it's taking in author, okay? Author, and that is the user underscore ID, which we could actually do. Actually, yeah, let's take the post out. Actually, we do the same as if we were getting the username. So if we look at the add post form, and how are we getting the username? So we'll do that here. Input type text username, and this is actually author. Oh, it's not the username, sorry, my bad. It is actually the ID here. And author, and if we take a look at the top, the author const author equals post.author underscore ID. Okay. So make sure that's all coming. Yeah, that's all good. So this should work in theory. So if we click on this like button, oh, database error undefined. Okay, let's just make sure that we are going into the right. Oh, it's not likes, it's Superblog likes, isn't it? Make sure it's going to the right. Yeah, Superblog underscore likes. Sorry, that's my little girl snoring away. Okay, so this should work now. If we click here, okay, so this violates row left because I created the post. So I'm going to create, oh yeah, because I created the post, I can't like the post. So technically you could disable that if you're the author. So let's do that 1 second. Just for now, I'm just going to disable the row level security and try again. And if I click liked, we take a look at the table. So we have the ID, the post ID, and the author ID, and it got added to the database. We can obviously, you can't like unless you're actually signed in, but you can't like your own posts. So there you go. So that's everything. So that's a nice little dashboard. Obviously, we might even add something else to show that you know, your likes, how many likes you have on that specific. See, it's a different post. It's the same author, but it's a different post. How many likes you have, so that could be an extra thing you would add there. So for example, dashboard, and you would say const likes equals get my posts, you would get the posts, and then you would have to get the, you'd have to get the you'd have to get everything from the Supabase likes and do it by post ID, or you could just do it by author, so you know how many people actually liked the post. And that's it. So there you go. There's a nice little Supabase blog CMS, all made with Astro.js and Supabase.